Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is November 25th, Cameron. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This is the last hangout before Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow. And because it is the last hangout of the month, I've decided that we're going to be. I talked with the guys, and we decided that the last hangout of the month, we're going to be starting a timer, Ron, and for 90 minutes.
It's already started.
Ah, sweetness. See, my team is just a well-oiled machine.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to cut it at 90 minutes today for a hangout. And then Oz, Backman, Jason Bliss, and myself are super, super proud of a brand new classified meteorite that I've been wanting to sell for a while. I had to wait till it was classified, obviously, but we've been wanting to sell it for a little while. But there was some delays that I wanted to take care of first. So I want to make this YouTube channel the go-to place for meteorite news, updates, friendly chat, scientific banner, all that kind of stuff. So I wrote myself some real quick notes. We are now averaging 31 hours every day of Topher spin meteorites being consumed. That's amazing. Every day, 31 hours of content is being consumed. So thank you guys. I got a lot of people who are seeing the content, realizing that it's a legitimate source for meteorite information, and reaching out in the comments of how best to identify their specimen. Can they send me pictures? Let me just say no, please, no pictures. The best way in order to get your sample looked at is a Facebook group, and I'm going to leave it in the comments down below, a Facebook group that a lot of us here in the Hangouts are members of, and a lot of geologists and very experienced meteorite guys are in as well. So the Facebook group you want to search for to load quality pictures and don't argue is Meteorite or Meteor Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of the admins of the group, and Ron is active in there. There's a bunch of us that are active in there. We'll see your pictures. We'll give you our honest feedback. And, we can't change science, so please don't argue with us. So that's the easiest way to get stuff looked at. Second, I want to thank everyone for your cooperation and partnership in the sale I had last Saturday, or Saturday a week ago. It was the 14th. It went long. I had no idea. Rob Leffler and I had a blast, and everyone online had a blast too. Lasted over 4 hours, sold over 100 pieces, and I got them all shipped out within 9 days, so the following Monday. So everyone has their meteorites in the mail. So thank you guys. I appreciate your support on that. Which leads me to the next thing, that on my YouTube channel, people have been making box openings. So if you want to see the box opening videos, they're on there. And also a brand new video, thanks to Ron, that I want to really thank. In fact, Ron, do you want to talk about this video a little bit? I can highlight you.
You're talking about the Alatai?
Yeah, the Alatai.
Sure.
Let me see here.
Let me grab. Hang on a second.
Yeah. Well, while I just put the spotlight on, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Good. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened is about a year or so ago, I bought a piece of Alatai from a fellow in China. Don't buy from China. Anyway, it was advertised as, it looked like a very nice piece, no rust, but when I got it, it was crumbling in my hands. So I basically ground it down to the base metal. I lost probably 50 grams or so. And I decided, well, since it looks so lousy, that I was going to try and re-etch it. I've had some luck re-etching before. So I took a piece and I made a video showing each step of the way. I also had some advice from Craig Lyman, who gave me some hints, and which I implemented. So I gave him a shout out a couple places. So what I ended up with was this. Let me show you. I'll show you both sides if I can hold this close. This is the final piece. Oh, can you see it? Let me try and focus this a little bit better.
I'm telling you right now, the video, this web camera is not going to capture the etch you have on that.
Well, I put it. You know, it's got a much better picture in the video. This is one side. You know, the other side came out very nice too. I actually like this side better.
I know.
I think it has a little bit better pattern. But this started out as a rusty piece of garbage. I mean, that looks pretty good now. Anyway, so I go through each step in painstaking detail. I got the snoring.
No. Your piece was snoring. Your piece was sleeping.
I go day by day, and I show what I did each day, you know, for I think it was 17 days worth of soaking in the electrolysis tank, and then what I did to polish it up. Let me focus back on me again. So what I did to polish it up and re-etch it, and I show what it looked like before, during, and after, and then I tried using some of that Paleobond Meteorite protection spray.
Yep. And
I didn't like the finish. It kind of was tacky. It just didn't harden up. So I got all that stripped off, and I used Craig's Lyman uses a clear coat automotive finish. So I went down to the local AutoZone, bought me a little can of that, and it came out pretty good. It's not as good as his finish. I'm still trying to figure out how he gets that flat, glassy surface, but it was not a bad finish for a first try. So I tried putting on thin, thick, but his just has a quality that I just can't get. Maybe he's got a lapping wheel or something. I don't know, but it came out beautiful. So so that's what I did. And based on that, I also re-etched that Marsa that I showed you. I brought up. Let me pull that one down too.
What's really cool about the video though is, excuse me, Ron is not an expert at doing this. No. This isn't his 85th time going through this. This is excuse me one second.
First time.
Excuse me very much. This is an attempt at learning, an attempt at salvaging a piece, sharing information, not being afraid to make a mistake, and then hopefully reap the rewards. So when you look at this video, you realize there's a lot of work involved in it.
There is. Actually, it was quite interesting because not only did I kind of learn, relearn my old college chemistry about electrolysis, I actually went into some of the science about how the water breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen, and why one side is bubbling more than the other, and just all that kind of stuff. But it was just truly a learning experience. It just, and the parts, except for the power supply, it cost me, I think, $20 to build the thing. A piece of rebar, there's some wire, there's a plastic bucket, there's some distilled water, some spa chemical called Spa Up. It's a potassium carbonate, I believe. So it's all cheap stuff. So I put a DC power supply in there because Craig said it would give me a better finish, and it actually worked better. But based on that, here's the other piece that I did. Now this piece is called Marsa. This is the one I showed a week or two ago. It was flat gray. You couldn't really see the Woodmanstatten pattern, but look at it now.
Wow.
This is just etching. So again, let me focus this a little bit better there.
Ron, you are good.
Popped out. This is just ferric chloride. This isn't nitol, which is the fancier stuff. This is ferric chloride, a fairly benign acid. Don't use it on aluminum. You get an exothermic reaction. Plastic tubs. Found out the hard way. So anyway, this is how it came out.
Dude, it was. You're right. It just looked like a fine-grained.
Yeah.
Nothing before.
Yeah, and now, I mean, you can see everything in there. You can see all the detail. Even those little inclusions pop out at you, wow, which were, nice before. The other side came out just as nice. I think that first side is a little bit better. This one, for some reason, didn't come out quite as
Yeah, it's not popping as yeah.
But no, this is the
Wow,
prize. This is the one that really
that's beautiful.
brought it home. And
And
it
that's
only took less than 2 minutes of etching. I mean, literally, you can watch it. It was like watching a photo develop back in the olden days. You know, use chemicals.
Man.
So this is the you know, the reward after all that work. Of course, then you have to go through the removing the water and the alcohol bath and all that, you know, drying it out and things like that. But after it's done, oh my, it's just
Wow.
it's outstanding.
I'm quite impressed, to be honest with you, because I've tried etching things and it's science, but it's art. It's just like you can say painting is just putting paint on a palette. Yeah, but it's an art. I don't have maybe my prep work wasn't up to par because I couldn't get anything to really just pop.
Well, one of the things that helped was this was already cut very nice and flat. I don't have professional equipment. I was using a handheld orbital sander. I just went through about 7 different grits of paper, which I show in the video, reality.
Yeah.
But it was already cut and reasonably sanded. I just kind of smoothed it out a lot. But that's the prep work that really makes the difference, because if it's shiny and then you go to etch it, it seems to work better. You know, unless it's rough, it just seems to, I don't know, just work great.
Yeah, I've heard all kinds of recipes. I call them recipes, which are,
yeah, it's basically a recipe. Yeah.
I've heard all kinds of recipes of sandpaper gritting, and then actually after you get it to the highest, you take it back 1 or 2 grits and roughen it up a little bit so the acid actually has something to grab onto and dig in there. And but like I said, I'm no Picasso at etching.
Well, like I said, this is my first and second attempt ever. I've never done this before. I just kind of felt my way along. It was just, you know, seat of the pants kind of thing.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, well, I totally appreciate you sharing that video with us. It was a lot of editing and a lot of time that was invested every day taking the photos from the same angle and stuff, which was awesome. And by the way, it was not boring. Your piece was peacefully sleeping.
There you go.
The snoring sound effects was not mocking you. It was well, hey, yeah. But
no, I kind of like what you did there. You know, when the thing came out of the tank, it was all black. You kind of put a fire on it, and it was dust. You kind of put a dust cloud. You know, that's fine. It's you know, I appreciate that. Actually, that's why I asked you what software you're using, because I'd like to do some of that kind of thing myself. You know, I have this Corel Video Studio, which is great, but it doesn't have those kind of effects.
Yeah, I do a lot. I do pretty well with the tools I'm given. Everyone asks, like my photos, I take really good photos, and everyone asks how the heck I do it. Well, this is how I do it. It's my cell phone,
that's how
and it's just a little mini light studio. And then I only use Windows editing, Windows photo editing. I can remove you, so you. So yeah, I use a Windows 10 video or photo editing, where I basically just crop, rotate, do contrast, things like that. I really don't do any changing of colors or any hues or anything like that. Really just trying to bring out what I'm trying to bring out in the piece that's being photographed, whether it's crust or anything.
Yeah, that's the way I do it. I take maybe 15 pictures and go through it and eliminate the blurry ones, the ones with the shadow, get down to the best one. And then that's when I use it. I just crop it down to the piece, get rid of all the extraneous, unnecessary, you know, side ground.
Yeah, I try not to get. I enjoy taking photos. I really do, because you get to see the piece, you get to enjoy it. It wakes up. You start noticing all little things that are in there, but you know, if it's for my private collection, that's great. But if I'm trying to move through a pile, I get stuck on a little one, and I'm just So yeah,
well, at some point you just have to move on.
Yeah,
you know, you can become obsessive, and start going for detail, but you know, it's good enough. Just move on.
Yeah, and then the thing is, hey, if it's not over $500, there's no more than 5 pictures.
There you go.
That's kind of like my rule, because otherwise I have 20 pictures and no one wants to look at them. Well, it is good to have your partnership, Ron. So I definitely appreciate
Yeah, I
it.
enjoy those videos. Yeah, they're fun to make.
Yeah, so they're all my YouTube, and like I said, it's a place for education. So
Yeah.
we got Art Wagner
Yes,
with
sir.
his hand up. Let's see what you got for us today, buddy.
Well, I don't have anything to show. I have a question. And when you're shooting a photo, do you shoot originally in RAW and then take the exact same photo in JPEG?
Nope.
So you have the original file, and then you have the JPEG. It's something like an experimental sacrificial photo that if you did do a lot of editing tools, you could fool around.
Yeah, no, I literally have to photograph so many things that I I quickly take a picture with my cell phone. I take like 6 or 7 or 8 pictures. I move them over to my SSD RAID storage, put it in whatever folder it needs to file into. Boom, 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 goes right into that thing where I can pull it up. When I come into my desktop, I open up the files. I literally just edit them in Windows 10 photos and send them. That's it. I do use 360 or whatever, or 3D photo 3D.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I use that quite often to put my logos and add text and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, I just finished working on this piece right here today. I had to take a sandpaper break, Oz. I had to take a sandpaper break during the day. Oz reminded me of his. Oh, I don't have the number written down right here. NWA 13523. No, hold on. It's his brand new classification.
13519.
Yep, there you go. And so it's an L3-5. And the piece I got was not in really good shape. So I just woke it up with a tiny bit of sandpaper. Look at that, Oz. It looks great, doesn't it?
Looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
Looks way better than, yeah, because literally, I think mine's kind of got forgotten about, got put in a bag and got sent to me, and it was a little bit, it was denatured alcohol, putting a little varnish on it. But boy, I just took a little bit of sandpaper to it, and that's Paleo Bond on there, by the way.
Cool. That looks good.
Yeah, and then I have an end cut. Now there's only 234 grams of this stuff. Look at this end cut.
Oh, absolutely.
That
Fantastic.
look at that control, buddy boy. That is massive. Just hanging on there. Just looking sexy. Yeah, so I got this side woken up as well.
That's a nice slice.
Yeah, this one, look, you can see that there are 2 different like L3 and L5s in there. But this is, yeah, I love this end cut, buddy. Thank you very much. This was a very pleasant gift. Yeah, so it's beautiful and dark. Yeah, so definitely, I wanted to show you that I got those finished. I put them in the food dehydrator to get rid of the moisture. So that's what I do that with my Paleo Bond stuff, and it seems to work out pretty well. So we do have hey, Mr. Rob Keaton joined us. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah.
Hey, Rob.
If anyone has anything to show, I'd love for you to raise your hand and let us know. Otherwise, I have a video, and I bet you guys know who it's from. We got Marco Geyser checking in from Germany. So let me pause this for 1 second. Yes, it's that time for our favorite German. Well, one of our favorite Germans. We have Alex Folta as well. But Marco Geyser checking in from Germany. Take it away, Marco. And let me know if you guys can hear and everything's okay.
Hello everyone! Again, it's time to see some nice oriented meteorites. I prepared 3 pieces for today, so enjoy! Okay guys, let's start with the first piece. It's this one here, a small 15-gram oriented NWA chondrite. And I think it's very special because it's a very small and tiny piece, but it shows a perfect nose cone and floating little regmiglots, as you can see here on that side.
Yeah, look at those.
I could not imagine that such a small piece could form
It's got floating.
such a nose cone orientation with such small regmiglots. But as you can see, it could happen.
Oh, sure.
So it's small, but special.
Yeah, look at those. On a small little one. 15 grams.
The beauty.
Here, today's second piece is this nice heat shield here. It's also an unclassified NWA, ordinary chondrite, like almost all of my oriented meteorites. And it weighs about 316 grams. And as you can see, it shows, yeah, I would say a very fresh fusion crust with nice flow lines here, and would say a typical heat shield form.
Wow, 360 grams. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those out in YouTube land, what we're actually seeing here, this line coming down, excuse me, this line coming down, the dark part of the rock was exposed while the light part of the rock was in the ground. So you're actually seeing the terrestrial line where this meteorite lay for however many hundreds, thousands of years. So if you notice, when we go back to the, well, you see on the dark side where it's been sand blown, the details are gone, but on the tan side, man, it's drippy still.
Mm-hmm.
Protected by being buried in sand.
And here's the backside of the piece. As you can see, it shows a nice rollover lipping all around, and also the pooling of the crust on the backside. And I hope you can see it, nice contraction cracks.
Jeez. Look at the rollover lip.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Last but not least, I want to show you this one here. It's the big brother of number 2. It's also an unclassified NWA chondrite with 2,140 grams. As you can see, it's also on heat shield, and it shows nice flow lines here on the front side, and Of course, we will have a look on the backside here after that, and there you will see an extreme pooling effect, so a frothy fusion crust on the trailing side.
Marco has some flow lines.
Telling you. Jeez.
Holy crap. I got meteorite, and look at that, perfect shape.
Mm.
It's like the Jetsons Hotel or something.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
And here's the backside of the piece.
Those negative pressure dimples.
As I said, you can see here a very thick fusion crust with those bubbles, or which indicates an extreme pooling of liquid fusion crust here on the trailing side.
Wow. Make me jealous every week, man. It's a 2.1 kilo heat shield.
Yeah, oriented meteorites are real space art for me. I love them so much, and yeah, maybe you have also some nice oriented pieces to show, like last week. Wow, amazing pieces, guys. Wow, really, really great. And yeah, if you have another ones to show, it would be a pleasure to see them. So have a great hangout and see you next week. Bye bye.
Right on. Thanks, Marco. Yeah, he rocks. I love the fact that he checks in with us all the time.
I really appreciate his contributions every week.
Yeah, the pieces that he has are just phenomenal too. It's like I don't have anything like that. It made me realize that I don't have enough oriented meteorites. I need to focus on that a little bit more. Well, does anyone have anything they'd like to show? Because I have some items, and then I got some Chelyabinsk. The hunting season was short this year, but my hunter was able to get smaller samples, but I got some on the way. I got my first pouch of 85 grams yesterday, and I had a really good time going through them with my eye loop, and I graded them one at a time. And it's just a really, really enjoyable experience to discover each meteorite and find out its characteristics. And yeah, sure, I'm grading it based on what the cost is per gram, but I'm looking for the special features. I'm wanting to be surprised that every one I turn over, I want to see something special on. So I think actually I'm going to play that video now that I got all excited about Chelyabinsk. So hold on one second, guys.
Jelly.
All right, so this is a quick little flyby of my Chelyabinsk that I went through yesterday, and it's I have them already graded and kind of laid out, but it's just a nice little flyby to see what I got. These are the lower class ones, and impact melt breccias that I pulled out. Chelyabinsk is just one of my favorite. Look at how glossy the crust is. Kind of looks like a camel donga with that glossy fusion crust. Wait till you see the bud side on this one. Boom! Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I feature it or not, but Marco showed us a 15-gram oriented meteorite with many fluted regmaglyphs. If you look at that top piece there, that's what you're looking at. Hey, Pat Brown, thanks for joining us. You're looking at an oriented Chelyabinsk. Whoever that is, can you mute it with the kid? Thank you very much. Yeah, so don't know who that is with the kid. I'm gonna mute everyone.
I think it's Nelson's microphone that isn't working.
Oh, well, I think I just
David.
muted. All right. Okay. If you guys can unmute yourself if you want, but if you're looking at that top piece right there, that is a oriented Chelyabinsk with many regmaglyphs and fluting. So it was very reminiscent of the piece that Marco showed us. These are super nice Chelyabinks, individual peas, no break at all. There, oh yeah, good. I did highlight it. Look at those little mini regmaglyphs. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. So that's my new Chelyabinks batch, and I'm expecting. Well, I was expecting 85 more grams today and 85 more grams the next day, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. So I guess it's easier to get under 100 grams out of Russia under the radar. So that's what I have to unfortunately do. Limit myself to 85 gram shipments, but what usually happens is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It makes for a great week.
Hey, Topher, this is the second time I've joined one of your meetings, but when you brought the Chelyabinsk up, I remembered I had a nice slice. You were talking about impact melt. And I just brought it up here just to show you, this is a nice slice from a impact melt. Let's see if I can bring it up so you can see it clearly on the camera. Is that?
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I'll try to hold it steady.
Wow.
Dang.
It's really fresh. It's got nice crust there.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, it's a beautiful little slice. So hopefully when you cut, maybe you'll cut some of those open and find something like that inside.
Oh man, that is a beautiful piece of Chelyabinks, man. Holy crap. I
That came from Matt Morgan. I bought it from him. It's 5.5 grams.
It's gorgeous. I've seen a bunch of Chelyabinks. I mean, if you count all the little ones and all the little ones I'm going to get in the next few days and all the little ones I have, like 1,000, 2,000, whatever. But they're all unique. I mean, there's some that are rubble and some that are just, you know, what's left over because they've been beat up in bags. And I mean, they weren't pristinely like now that I have them, all the top ones are being, you know, they're not rubbing against each other anymore. You know what I mean? They're being respected.
That's good.
So
Yeah,
there are.
The crust on Chelyabinsk is very interesting because although it's a chondrite, it has sort of a pseudo-eucrite type crust to it. You know, like you pointed out, it has a very nice gloss to it that I thought was a bit unusual for a fall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that glossy is very rare on a Chelly because, I mean, on the fresh ones, obviously day one picked up, no problem. But nowadays, to still be pulling glossy ones out of the frozen tundra is just remarkable. Yeah,
Very
so
true.
When I pulled those out and pulled, because I put a post on Facebook, I put a picture on Facebook of those Chelys, and I basically had little text on there: grade A plus, grade C, impact melt breccia. And someone questioned whether it was like an official thing or what I was doing. And it's basically like, when I look at the piece, how excited am I? Like, what features does it have? Like, it goes back to my 5 S's of meteorite evaluation, and one of them is surface features. So if it has beautiful crust, glossy crust, flow lines, orientation, an intact piece, it's like you start stacking all these up. How could you grade that a C or a D? You know, that's an A. You know. So yeah, and that helps too, because if you're a new collector and you want a Chelyabinsk meteorite just because you don't have any meteorites and you think, oh my God, I can't believe I can own pieces. Well, guess what? You're probably going to get a piece of rubble, and you're going to pay the rubble price, not the collector price, the highly sought after pieces. So. Yeah. Awesome. Bob, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your participation. That was a beautiful Chely, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I wish I could, I didn't think you were going to bring it. I didn't know what you were going to present, but I do have a piece. My very favorite one is, and it's buried somewhere now. I'll have to unearth it again, just like a meteorite fall. But it's about 1 inch in diameter, flattened, and it has several smaller meteorites attached to it that were glued onto the back of it. They must have, I don't know what happened, if they just followed in a train or if it shattered and they melted and stuck.
Yeah,
It was actually like a
hitchhikers.
couple of mini Chelys right in there, stuck to the
knows.
back end of this thing.
Yeah, that is a super special, super rare thing. And Pat Brown knows all about hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we call them, as hitchhikers. In an oriented meteorite, and I don't have one at arm's length right now. This big one is somewhat oriented, but it's a weird shape. But the normal oriented shape, of course, is a shield, as Topper and crew talked about last week, about copying the ablative heat shield design from meteorites to the manned and unmanned atmospheric reentry. But basically, the backside on a shield-shaped meteorite like that is a low-pressure area, and if the meteorite is ablating in blobby sort of form, those will crawl around the backside and stack up on the backside of the meteorite.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate
a few examples.
That's great.
And it also happens on kind of a macro and micro scale as well. I've got one Tarda that I don't have unboxed yet that has like a bunch of froth from the fusion crust that piled up on the backside, and then I have others that have, obvious discrete pieces that are on the backside. And then there's even another one that I bought from Marcin Simala that is a slice of a meteorite that had sliced through the fusion crust on the backside, and you could see the little fractured pieces of meteorite that were covered in the thick crust on the backside where they had stacked up. So yeah, interesting and important feature.
And definitely rare too, because and that's why I think I can speak for the general. We love meteorites because each one tells a different story. It's
Right.
not just the Chelyabinsk fall, but there's a story within the story, and that one particular stone has a story with his little brothers hitching a ride. I do want to give a little call out to a beautiful lady, inside and out. She's married to one of my friends, so I definitely won't get in trouble for saying that. Ashley Humphreys from Arizona Minerals and Meteorites in Tombstone. She's married to Tombstone Johnny. So
Sure.
I asked her to help me out. I have some nieces and nephews, and I want to give them these for Christmas and for presents. And actually,
Oh, wow.
She hooked me up. Yeah, so what we're looking at here is obviously Campo del Cielo meteorites with little eye loops, welded, soldered, whatever on there. And some of my, hold on one second. So I'm sure the kids are gonna really, really enjoy these, because every time they come over my house, I have to lock them out of my office or they want to steal my meteorites.
Oh, they'll love those.
Yeah. So the thing that's great about it is she gave me enough of them that literally when they lose one, next time they come over Unky Topher's house, they can get another one. So thank you very much, Ashley. That was super generous of you. When she heard that they were going for kids, I think she threw an extra few in there on top of the extra few, on top of the extra few. So big love. Thank you so much. That was really generous of you. I do appreciate it, Ashley.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and those actually have a story behind them too. They I don't know who first figured it out, but they take the less beautiful Campo del Cielos, soak them in liquid nitrogen until they're super cold, put them in a vise, and fracture the meteorite with pressure in a vise, and they fracture along the grain lines between the taenite and the camosite, and that's how you get that beautiful crystalline sort of shape. And because Campo is a fairly coarse meteorite, you don't really see individual you know, the whole thickness of the laminella of the taenite. You just see the borders between the taenite and camosite.
How are those as far as rust? Do we have any idea over time? Because I've seen them sold on eBay a lot.
Yeah, and some of them they throw in a rock tumbler and tumble them, but I think every time I've ever seen them in person, they're oiled, and you know, they will eventually rust. Campo is not a horrible ruster, but they will eventually rust. So the Russians with the 1947 meteorite that I'm forgetting the name of,
Sokotelin.
Sokotelin, thank you. Those are always oiled with red automatic transmission fluid.
Now, I'm not a huge fan or proponent of meteorites for, for ruining a meteorite, getting it, smashing it, and freezing it in liquid nitrogen, smashing it up into small little 5-gram bits, putting a little necklace ring on it and giving out to kids to play. That's not what I normally want meteorites to go for. But let's face it, with Campo del Cielo, there's enough to go around. And inspiring the youth in STEM and in meteorites is definitely one of the goals.
Well, it's a lot more exciting than taking NWA 869 and grinding it up and putting it on a stamp and giving them the. You're familiar with that, right? They had meteorites. So I think it's a wonderful gift.
Yeah, well, I know they're gonna love it, because literally every time they're over my house, like, I have to lock the door because they're handsies. And all they need to do is knock over one thing and 28 things else will fall over. So Art Wagner has his hand up.
Yeah, in discussion with the surface texture of the meteorites, it's interesting to try to figure out the different types, stony ions and ions, as they enter into our liquid atmosphere, what effect that has on the orientation as well as the fluting of the meteorite. And that's why I guess we see so many different textures when we're looking at meteorites. So
I wonder if they've ever modeled, and there probably is some 3D animation modeling of a tumbling meteorite versus an oriented meteorite. And it'd be really cool, because there's a lot of people out there with too much time on their hands spending hours and hours on TikTok and crap like that. By now there's got to be someone smart enough with enough time on their hands who's built a 3D animation that shows that kind of stuff, you know? So
I think the research exists. I've seen it somewhere. I'll
yeah,
try to send it your way.
yeah, awesome. We got the crew on it. So Kevin Dubeau, you got your hand up, buddy. You got something for us?
Hey, man. Well, I'm not the best at public speaking, but since we're on the topic of Campo, I figured maybe break out one of my pieces here.
Nice.
It's my 373 gram slice, etched. It's actually the only Campo that I have.
From LaCroix.
You recognize that name, Oz?
Oh, I have one just like that. I got many of his tags.
Yep, that's John Lacroix. Or Jack Lacroix, sorry.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
he
beautiful.
sliced this up for me. He etched it. Nice Woodmanston patterns.
That is gorgeous, man.
Put the motor oil on it, and it's really fresh. And as soon as I opened up that package, that's all you could smell.
100 weight.
That was 360 grams. But if you look at on that side there in the very front, it looks to be like mixed up or chaotic. It doesn't.
Right here?
No. On the other side where your pinky is. It doesn't it like appear to be
It's all
like
squashed together.
yeah, it looks it looks to be like there was a violent impact event in the Campo in that particular slice because the pattern does not match throughout. There's a squishing effect on it. Do you see them what I'm talking about, Kevin?
Yeah, right here. There's a thick or more thickness of the darkness.
Yeah, and it extends really that whole nub.
I'm trying to get the proper angle of the lighting so you can see it better.
The video compression algorithm that Zoom uses gives this kind of weird triangular overlay that makes some of those videos hard to interpret. But yeah, I think they're I think it does look like there's distorted Women's dotting patterns on the left side, which is not very common and really only occurs in really big masses.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I would love for you to do, Kevin?
Yes.
Take a picture of that, a really nice picture of that, and send it to me.
Okay.
And on Facebook, like within a half hour of us being done with the hangout, I want to use that as the thumbnail for tonight's hangout.
All right. Beautiful.
Yeah. So you'll see your piece, but I don't want to use any of these screen grabs. I want a nice, beautiful. I want to see that violent stuff. I want to see what happened there.
All right. I can do that.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and anyone like that, if you're showing off a piece and you want it on perhaps on a thumbnail, I mean, thumbnails have to be simple, so I'm using one piece, but that's the piece for today. I'm telling you right now.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I figured we were on the topic of etching and Campo, so I broke that one out and told my wife to head to the bedroom so I could show that one off a little bit.
Awesome. Well, good. We're glad you joined us. We got Mike Kelly with his hand up, so let's go ahead and spotlight him.
Hey, speaking on etching and Campo, so I figure I'll stick with the theme. I've wanted a silicated Campo for a long time. So one piece that doesn't have just the iron, but also has the silicates in it. And I like Ron's been doing. I've been playing around and like to try to interact with my meteorites a little more than just buy them and stick them in the case and throw a label on them and put them away. So I picked up this unfinished slice off John Higgins, and this way I had something that I could play around with and finish it up. So this is the backside, off of an initial cut. So you can see it's got the saw marks and everything else. And then last week I took the time to clean up just the one side so you could see the difference between the two.
Whoa.
You know, I brought it flat like Ron was saying, which is really important. Ran it all the way up through the high grits of sandpaper, and then hit it with ferric chloride. It's hard to get, but that one crystal right around where I got the light shining,
yeah,
it's actually really green when you look at it in person. And then, you know, the rest of the crystals up top, the rest of the silicates up top are pretty dark.
That is crazy beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I was definitely glad to get a piece of silicated Campo to add to the collection.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, you send me a picture, a high quality picture of that as well. Ron, send me a picture of your ball, whatever it was.
Marsa bit.
Yeah. Okay, it's going to be a trifecta of irons on the thumbnail, guys.
You got it.
Yeah.
And I know Pat was talking about the you know, cryogenically freezing and cracking, but I don't know if anyone saw. There's been some pictures posted of I guess Campos that look a little more melted, and they're all really small pieces. But I guess there's also a technique where they're heating them and then cracking them, and I don't know if they're doing it with, you know, heating them and then quenching them or what. But the bits that I've seen almost look like they're heated to the point where they started to melt, you know, and almost become, you know, meteorite slag, I guess you'd say.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah, so I have seen, no, so there are certainly different ways to do this, but I have seen many that are very rounded like that and have a blobby flow sort of look to them. And I think at least some of those are tumbled in a rock tumbler, but they may well have other techniques for breaking them up to get that flow sort of look. But I've seen the same thing as, like, you know, embedded teardrop flow sort of shapes.
yeah, I definitely think they have to be processed a little bit afterwards and tumbled or something like you're saying. I was thinking the same thing, Pat, but it just doesn't seem, because it would seem like if you were heating it that much to the point where it's melting, you would get some annealed colors to it. And then I think you're right. They probably do throw them in a tumbler or something. But I'd be interested to get one of the bigger ones, and I've always seen them as just tiny little pieces, you know, and lop it in half and see what's happened to the grain structure inside.
That would be very interesting, yeah.
This is
Sorry, I got invaded.
I don't know why all of a sudden the subject turned to compo, but let me show you some different compos that I have so you can see the different. This is a nugget that was frozen and broken, but pretty cool.
Yeah, the bottom gives it away. Flat.
Yeah, absolutely. The bottom gives it away, but I thought that was a pretty cool one. So that's one look at a compo.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
This is what everyone thinks of. This is what I thought of when I thought of a meteorite. So this is, I believe it could be an individual, I'm not sure, but I love this one. So this is like unworked. This is the most worked.
How many grams was that one you just had?
No idea. I have it in my database, but here's the most worked, a cube.
Strange orientation on that one.
Yeah. That one, oh, look at that. Yeah, it has its own sound effects, guys. Okay. Then I have a slice. Then I have a freaking wedge. Whoa. Yeah. And then I have a box I need to send to Craig that has a bunch more. But this is one that I bought that was super distressed. All of this material was removed and stabilized. So this is a Ron special. When I got this, it was hideous. And you know what? This is really the first time I've looked at it this closely in probably a year and a quarter, year and a half. and I would say it looks identical to the day I put it back. Stabilization success. But yeah, getting in that crack was just ridiculous. But yeah, maybe I should send this to you to get it etched, buddy. Yeah.
I'll show you a couple, Topher.
Go for it. Let me see here. That's what I'm talking about.
Big slice.
How many grams is that?
I'm sorry.
How many grams?
I think it's 612.
Mm. Boy, it's lovely.
That's awesome.
Ooh, thin too.
Boy, that is a thin slice. Yeah, and you can kind of see.
Yeah, this is a LaCroix piece also. I was wanting to show Kevin. And also,
Yeah,
let
mine.
me show
my
you
slice.
Silicated Campo.
Nice.
This is also 600 and something grams, 680.
It's a nice end cut. Yeah, I heard someone ask me before. Mine was 373 gram. My slice.
I'd have to look at this one again.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful, though.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'll show you a Chelly while I'm here.
Where'd you go? Hold on.
I'm still here.
There you go.
Nice.
The jelly.
Yeah, it's a good size one.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
82 and a half
like to
grams.
see it. Yeah. How much?
Good
82
crust.
and a half.
I got a jelly here you might want to take a look at.
That's beautiful.
Let me see here. And we're on.
Yeah, I got a little jelly here. It's an 83 gram. I got this. Let me see if I can get this focused. This is there. This is it doesn't have any red lips or anything, but this just got a beautiful crust on it.
Dark.
Yes, it looks like a piece of black charcoal. Just let me get this thing. God dang, where's all my controls? There we are. Get this focusing a little bit better. Yeah, but it's got a nice grain structure. The only thing on the crust that I got was that on the back. But other than that, it's just a beautiful
Wow.
piece. It's 83.1 grams, and
It is a weird shaped
It
jelly.
I got this from a guy who was having some financial issues, so I bought it from him, trying to help him out a little bit. But
It looks like it was picked up fresh.
It does. Looks very fresh. It does have contraction cracks on the crust. It's not a smooth crust. It does have, you can't see it in the video here, but it does have small contraction cracks.
What I was referring to, like if you hold it at that angle right there, we see the flecks of metal, but I don't see any oxidation or anything around the flecks of metal. I see total white where there should be white. I mean, it didn't spend winters out there.
It looks like it's brand new. I've had this about 3 years, 4 years maybe. Just got lucky on this piece.
That's a beautiful one, man, for sure.
Yeah, I love this thing. I keep it in a box with cotton. It has a very nice bed. Nobody handles this but me.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's a weird shape one too, because it's
very smooth.
I have to show off my silicated. No, this is a compo. It's a silicated nodule.
Okay, we're doing silicated. All right, I got one of those.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, that is a beauty.
By the way, that slice was 400 grams.
400. Yeah, it was thinner than that's so I'm wondering if this whole
Just
thing
related.
is, wondering if this whole thing is silicated or not, but yeah. So if anyone's a big fan of silicated irons, they can let me know after the hangout.
That's a nice one.
I am too.
Yeah.
Let me show you one that I've got here, if I can find it. Here it is. This is my biggest. I have two silicated. This is my biggest one. This is a rather large.
Wow.
But it is. Let me see here.
It's like salt and pepper.
Yeah, this one I got this from. Oh gosh, who did I buy this from? Let me get to the data here. This one is 677 grams. Got it from Floyd Griffith.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, that's the exact.
It's a Campo. This is a Campo. But I just love the outside too. It's a very nice piece. I mean,
very meteorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful honk, dude.
This one here is just, I just love this. I have another one that's not quite as nice as this. It's a larger slice, but it's just kind of like been remelted or something. So anyway, that's my silicated.
That's awesome. The reason I chuckled.
Oh, you got another one?
The one I was showing you was from Floyd Griffith. Now he shares a room with Ann Black. Well,
that's where I got it.
Yeah, exactly. He's the next door neighbor to Ann Black. So
yes.
Yeah, I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. You know, there's, like I said, a meteorite dealer can't be a master of everything. You're going to have your specialties and things you don't do, but I guess he got a good deal on some silicated compost because we all jumped on it. Yeah. Hey, we got
one I got a good deal on. It's and he sold it for like, I don't know, 40 cents a gram. It's pretty cheap.
Wow, that's crazy. We got Fred joining us from Canada, which is awesome.
Hey.
I've got a Campo to show.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This one is
big one.
This is an experiment in rusting, or not rusting. This is one of my outreach meteorites, so it's been pawed and slobbered on, passed around, and held hostage one time after a talk. And
oh, look at that!
It has a pretty nice shape, but this was nice. This thing's about 3 kilos or so, and back in the day, it was pretty easy to get Campo for between 7 and 10 cents a gram. So this is.
I'm dying. I'm dying. 7 to 10 cents a gram.
I remember 30 cents a gram.
Yeah. So there's probably some silicates down in the bottom of that hole because it's kind of smooth, but you can see the high points have whatever the surface coating is worn off, but down in these spots you can see a little bit of what might be rust, but overall it's really quite stable.
Yeah,
I have a large Pat, I've got a large Campo with just that exact kind of hole in it. I was wondering how it got there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really deep. I mean, it's like a
how does a deep hole like that happen? Are we just talking silicates being softer material burning out before the metal around them does?
Yeah, it's a combination of silicates and terrestrial weathering. So, if you think about, well, this one, I'm sure there's there was a silicate nodule there, and there may be some of it still in the bottom of that hole.
You
But
could
if you
live
think
in
about
there.
if you think about the Willamette meteorite, it had the silicate inclusions. Some of them probably partially burned out through atmospheric entry, but on terrestrial weathering, those preferentially weather versus solid metal.
That's
So
a
it's a
beautiful,
combination.
that's a beautiful
Here's-
meteorite.
Yeah, Tober, can you show me for just a moment? This is my second. Yeah, that's that big one I was telling you about, Pat.
Oh yeah,
You pulling it right there.
right.
Another
Live
camp
in
I
that
got.
one too.
Yeah, this is about 3 kilos, and I got this one. Oh, this is actually one of my first rocks. A lot of regma lifting, but that hole there is why I bought it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got one too.
I think everybody has Campo.
when Pat brought his outreach Campo out, this is my outreach Campo, and more people in where I live in Duluth, Minnesota, and more people in Duluth and Superior, Wisconsin have held this meteorite than anything else. I love bringing this, and what's so amazing is that it's almost magical because it does not rust. And in my brain, I'm thinking, maybe it's because the oils are preserving it from everybody who's ever handled it. Anyway, it's a wonderful meteorite because people like heft, they really feel like they're holding one when you give them something.
That's something
Yeah,
I've noticed too on my larger Campos. They don't rust. They're very
Same
stable.
deal.
I've not had any problems at all with my Campos.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
I've got another, I think it's probably an 869 that's just about the same volume as this one. And it's also one of the outreach ones, but you hand somebody the nickel iron or the 869 Stony, and it's like, yeah, it's dense. And then you hand them this one, and if you do it right and kind of grab it overhand like this and, set it in their hand, you don't give you don't give away the fact that it's very dense when you pick it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it drives home that point that that they're really dense.
Well, what you need is a third meteorite there, Pat, a very nice fluffy carbonaceous chondrite. You can drop that in their hand too.
Yeah, those don't get passed around.
He has a 300 and some odd gram one that
see him too.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Some you just don't take the outreaches. They're just you take the indestructible ones.
Well, we're gonna play the impossible game, then the possible game. Here's the impossible. Name this meteorite, and yes, it is impossible. Yeah, that is NWA 8302.
Oh,
but yeah, no, but that was a joke though. This is what I wanted to show you. This is a silicated iron. Kind of fits the subject what we're talking about today. Let me hold it a different way. Fits what we're talking about today. Wow, there we go.
Maslianino?
Nope.
Udai?
Nope. Further down on the
Moresco?
Further down in the alphabet.
Dag?
There you go.
I got it, really.
Zagora.
Oh, yeah.
So this is my first sample of Zagora. Well, maybe I have another one, but this is a good sample of Zagora silicated iron. It's 2.35 grams, but complex as crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody have a piece of, is it Landis or Lands? I've always wanted a slice of that, and I've never been able to afford one.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I settled on Zagora because I couldn't get Landis.
Yeah.
There's some that are just so beautiful.
That's a beautiful piece. The Landis I've seen is just beautiful to me too. I'd love to have one.
I also want to get, it's a, I don't know what it's classed at off the top of my head, but Portez Valley, it's a chondrite with metal veins. And that one I can never find a nice slice of, or never can afford a nice slice of.
Portolas, is that the one you're thinking about, Topper?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like H6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Portalis.
Portalis.
Portalis, that one. Oh yeah, it's like lightning shot through the thing. The veins are so sharp. Yeah.
ET's got some of that. It only costs a fortune.
Yeah, that's the problem. I have connections. I just don't have connections.
Here's a couple of carbonaceous chondrites. So that one is a
oh wow,
Lord.
Oh my God.
Really?
That will get classified at some point, and it has some really cool big CAIs in it, and you can see some fusion crust on that surface of it. And then this other one is one that I always love to pimp out Topper with because he fell asleep and missed the auction.
I hate you, Pat.
Nice.
I just figured I had to rub it in there. This one.
Now I have a weapon against Topher.
This one's a CO3. It's not classified yet, but probably some folks that recognize that piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
XRF data from our friends in Colorado. And then this one got looked at by, I don't know if it was Dr. AG or Lawrence, but one or the other of them looked at it. So it's even got an ugly side to cut off. This chunk here is going to get cut off for the type sample, provided.
Don't sell it to Topher.
It's been
Christian.
cut a little clumsily there, but been cut in that surface. And if you put it under the microscope, and you can see the small chondrules in it. But so there's a couple more.
Yeah, so you have all three densities to offer people. Yeah, that one, that one's a stickler in my side. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, this one was 403 grams or thereabouts, and it wound up, I got it from Matt Stream, it wound up being 87 cents a gram. And I had entered a bid that was $2 or $3 a gram. So,
and yeah, that was a sniper who fell asleep in his sniper's nest. I had my submit button probably. Let me hit pause for 1 second, guys. All right, Pat, let me highlight you real quick. Go for it.
So back in the day, El Haggounia came out, and we talked about this one or two chats ago, but this is a very, very terrestrially weathered meteorite, and originally they classified it as a Acapulcoite or something. But if you get the stuff that's been minimally processed, it has a blue color to it, and you can actually see the relic chondrules in that area, and it got reclassified, and
it's an EL melt now, I think.
Yeah, an instatype chondrite.
Yeah. Instatype chondrite, but that's the blue material, and I sliced some, but this one was so crumbly, I tried to lap some of the slices and they just crumble apart. So
they call the fossilized meteorite.
Yeah, one with just very, very great terrestrial age.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Cool. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it. I have 2 new main masses that I'd like to show. They are not very big, which is cool because I like having stuff that's affordable for people and myself as well. So this right here is JA 739. It is classified as an L4. This is 54.7 grams. And let me see. I don't have the total weight written down, but it's not much. This is the majority of it.
Oh yeah, beautiful chondrules visible through the surface there.
And then it probably could use a little bit of lap work on it. Oh, nice fingerprint.
Yeah.
It could probably use a little lap work to make that pop a little bit more. Make my phone pop too. But yeah, just a cool 55 gram main mass.
Nice.
Little reggie. And then this one is pretty nice because it's a main mass of a eucrite. It's a eucrite monomic. Yeah. So the monomic, you'll see it written. Well, this is the NWA 12703. It's the main mass. It's 27 grams of 50 grams known. And it's a monomic. Whenever you see the monomic, it's a breccia, and the M means mono, meaning it's all the same material brecciated together, rather than a PMIC, a polymic, multiple different rocks mashed together.
Nicely described.
Thank you.
Nice.
My fact checker signed off. I feel awesome.
Yeah, some beautiful crust on it too.
Absolutely.
I wish my camera would decide what it wants to focus on, my nasty fingers or the beautiful meteorite. But
it's doing pretty good. That's a very clear view most of the time. You can really see the textures.
Oh,
yeah,
I think his camera is focusing on my bank account.
I believe this actually shows orientation, but I'm not. There's not enough crust here to really know, but you can definitely see flow lines in the crust.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is NWA 12703, 27 grams of 50 grams known, and let's see if we can zoom in on. Come on.
Beautiful.
It's not.
That's the main mass?
Yep. Wow. I'm really not impressed with my Samsung all of a sudden. All right. Well, those are the two main masses I wanted to show. The two things I wanted to show off. So awesome. Does anyone have any else they want to show off or a story they want to tell? All right. Well, I've always learned you leave them wanting more. So,
you want it.
You know you want it.
You gotta have it.
Yeah. So let me do one thing real quick. Hold on. All right. So that is it. We are out of time for today. Everyone who didn't get to show off their thing or tell their awesome story, write it down, save it for next week, and we'll be back. Thank you everyone for joining. I had a blast. For those who are interested, I'm going to end this meeting and then I'm going to start another one. Feel free to join that, and you can be one of the first people in the world to own the brand new classified Gurura 003. Oz, Backman, myself, and Jason Bliss are the main mass holders, and I'm making it available after tonight's hangout for the first time. So thanks everyone. Good night and happy Turkey Day.
All right.
Absolutely. Stay safe and healthy.